Is it time to reveal your real magic and become seen, known, and valued? Hi, I hope you're having a great week and enjoying the spring if you're here in the Northern Hemisphere. And today we're talking about radical support for your vision. So if we haven't met before, hello, welcome to the group, welcome to these sessions. My name is Rionach and I am a deep dive visibility mindset mentor who explores what are the deep underlying structures that support us to step into the next level of visibility and what are the blocks that hold us back. And in our last deep dive, we talked about sacred visibility and calling in invisible help. And today we are going to be talking about the real, practical, tangible help that we need to step forward to create our vision. So let me know if you're here and let me check to see if I can see any comments from you. It's so nice to be able to see comments, but Facebook is a little bit strange. So let me see if I can just come into the group another way and see your comments. So, and let me know if you're watching the replay, just say hello or just put in replay and we'll see. Okay, now I can see you. Hi, Caroline, these things do happen. Yes, Zoom normally works. Today it's like not playing ball. So beautiful. I can see your comments now. Great. So radical support for your vision. You know what I've discovered in my own life, and I've had lots of feedback. I've actually was chatting with Caroline about this to get clear on this, and then had an email from a former client all around this topic. And I think that often we are radically under-supported in terms of creating our vision. And, you know, let me talk about why. I mean, a lot of us here in this group are women. You know, there are also many of us who are, you know, have other diversity characteristics, whether that's, you know, being an ethnic minority, having a disability, or being different in some way, you know, being, you know, very spiritual and having a different perspective. That can all really have, you know, left us with the feeling that, you know, we're not the ones who receive support in the world. We are the ones who support others. And often we are standing from further back in terms of the support that we need. We're not all starting at the same start line. You know, we're way back in order to catch up with people who for generations have been the ones who expected support and knew how to create that. And we can sometimes think there's something wrong with us, that, you know, that we should be further than we are. We should be feeling more confident and we just have to work harder. It's not okay. So I really want to explore what are these limiting beliefs that we carry in our session today. So just tell me, what's your experience about this? Hi, Marie-Cecile. Hi, Susan. Great. And Caroline, lovely to see you all on live. Tell me, what's your experience about receiving support for your vision? I'd love to hear more about that. And there's a quote from my own teacher, in my feminine power teacher, who, you know, helped me to get my coaching and transformational facilitation qualifications. And that she says, I love, which is, we can't become ourselves by ourselves. We cannot become ourselves by ourselves. And what this really points to is that the radical support that we need is about who we are becoming. It's about the potential that we feel inside ourselves, that we have a sense that there's something that I'm here to do, there's something that I'm here to bring. I have this calling to really achieve my potential, to support others, to empower others. So the kind of support that I'm talking about today isn't necessarily about, you know, training, about learning new skills. It's not purely about personal development. It's not, purely about, support with the domestics and the childcare, although that can be a part of it. But really, it's about the support for who you are becoming, the support for your vision. Because we are visionary leaders. You might not think of yourself as a visionary leader, but if you are here to create something that hasn't existed before, to create something that's contributing towards a better future, this is what we are about. And we don't necessarily know what it is that we're called to create. We're evolving works in process. So often there are support structures that we have in our lives, and these can be family or friends that we've had for a long time, that they're often support for who you were in the past. And they can still be great supporters, but they may not see your vision. They may not understand what it is you're creating. They may not be able to support who you are becoming and what you are creating. So they can still support you. And then this is about being on the path with other people who are walking this visionary pathway, who are stepping into the unknown or feeling our way step by step and trusting that and seeing your essence and who you are, and so you can step in. So this is, and so we absolutely need radical support for this level of creating what hasn't existed before, for being pioneers in the world in some way, for really birthing your own unique soul calling. So this requires radical support for your vision. So tell me anything else in the comments. What have you been finding challenging? What have your assumptions been? What's your experience been as well? Caroline, I do ask for support in my healing and growth. I'm triggered by support for my vision. I don't think I have ever asked for this. So beautiful. So that's great. We're going to go deeper into these triggers, because what we're going to do is explore our old stories so that we can bring new awareness to them, bring them out of the darkness into the light and begin to shift them. We don't have to shift everything today. It's just about getting clear on some of the limiting ways of being and some of the new things that we can do to show up. I know for me, back a few years ago, I was working as a CEO, and then my husband was really sick in hospital. He nearly died, and I really realized at that point, when I was, busy leading this team of 100 people and busy, looking after the person who'd been my main source of support, and I just realized how little support structures I had in my life. I had plenty, of friends who would, give me, wish me well and ask me how it's going, but I didn't have a lot of support structures in my life, and I've really changed that over the last few years and created so many support structures, which I'll share with you in a little while. But there's so many old stories about this, and I still run into them. Every time I stretch into the next level, I'm like, oh, I need more support with this. It's a struggle. So that might not just be me. And I'd love to just take a moment here to explore what are the different limiting beliefs, the old stories that we carry, that you might be carrying. And I'd love you to share any that you recognize in the chat. So there can be limiting beliefs about ourselves. I can't be supported. I have to do it all myself. And if I want to do it my way, I have to do it. If I want to do it to my standard, I have to do it. That was a big one for me. Very high standards are very hard for other people to support me, which means that, guess what? It reinforces my old belief that I have to do it all myself. Sometimes it might be I'm not worthy of support. My vision, my work, my dreams are not important enough. I need to support, other people's dreams or visions. It might be a belief of working hard makes me worthy. I've got to be working hard all the time to be worthy, to be a good person. That can be very cultural as well. There can be very strong work ethic programs in our cultures. And it might be that you've got a belief that it's weak to ask for support, that it's vulnerable, that it's not safe. So share with me, what are your beliefs about yourself around support? So beautiful. So, and then we have beliefs about others. That others don't support me, others can't support me, others are not capable of supporting me, others don't want to support me, they're not interested. It might be that others, reject me when I ask for support, or others don't really understand what I'm creating. Others' work, others' visions, they're more important than mine. So what's the old stories that you've got about others? Because it's so important, to be able to receive support from others. When we're holding these old beliefs, we really unconsciously block it, and we don't even think to ask or know how to ask people as well. And then we've got a sense about, life is the universe supporting me. It's not possible to ask for support. The universe doesn't have my back. I'm just destined to be a supporter. That's who I'm meant to be. And it doesn't mean that we can't support others, but if you have this vision, if you have this calling and dream, you need support to create that as well. And so how do we show up inside these old stories? We don't even think about asking for support, or we don't know who to ask. We haven't, like I was, we haven't created structures of support, relationships where we can ask people for support. We just don't even believe it's possible, or we underestimate our support means. Well, I just have to do all of that. And then we don't develop the skills, the habits, of reaching out and creating support structures and systems. So let me see what your comment is. Yeah, Caroline's, my vision is so weird and out there, I cannot speak about it. And yeah, you're saying that's the limiting belief. Which one is the limiting belief that is the big one for you? And is it just that one about your vision? Susan, I learned to ask for help for practical support, not for my visions. Never ever thought of that. I do exchange conversations about this topic with friends, and yes, my perfectionism is in the way too. So great. So we're just bringing some new awareness to these old stories and and habits. It's the beliefs, and also they inform our habits of reaching out for support or not reaching out for support. So yes. So now, what I have in my life, and I love that, I was having a chat with Caroline about this during the week, and just from our conversation, she reached out to somebody who was doing something similar to her and said, let's support each other. Let's create a structure where we can support each other because we're both creating our online course. And that's such a great example of how we get clear on okay, I'm struggling with this. Is this an inner barrier, or maybe it's a support need? I know for me, for years, I just, it didn't even occur to me to ask, or there wasn't people around me who were at the right level to ask for that kind of support. So the support structures I have in my life now, I've got a beautiful, intuitive, high vibe Joy Jam business mastermind. So I have a mentor and a mastermind group that I meet with every week, which covers business strategy and copy and creating everything that I'm creating. It's a wonderful support. I've also got a business from the heart membership, which is a beautiful community that offers so many different structures and support for creating a business. And these are two paid forms of support that I've got, but there's also so much more that I've got, where I've got some business besties that we get together, either one-to-one, or there's a group of 3 of us that meet every week, and we share what we're up to. We kind of say, what do you need support with? And we keep each other accountable to what we're doing. And that's, been self-generated. There's also a group of women from all over Europe that I meet with every month, and it used to be every week, that we support each other through our coaching and facilitation training and in launching our businesses. And again, we really see each other. We really see each other's gifts. We see each other's journey, our vulnerability, and what we're creating. So much mutual support, both for who we are becoming, and the ups and downs of that journey. I also have a spiritual circle that meets every week to hold space for the transitions that are going on in the world, and that really opens me up to higher levels of energy and insight and wisdom, and it's a beautiful support for navigating our transition times. And when I was doing my coaching and facilitation qualification, I had a group that met twice a week for 2 hours each time for over a year to support each other through our qualification. Amazing. And we still meet as well. I've got a women's circle. We meet every 6 to 8 weeks, where we just really share what's going on, both the vulnerability and who we're becoming, and so beautiful. And then I've got all this practical stuff. I have an amazing partner who supports me in so many ways. And there's practical stuff like accountants, and you might have a cleaner or a gardener, stuff like that. So just share, I'd love to just share, what support do you already have? Okay, let me see the questions, comments. So, Marie Cecile, I've learned how to get some support for practical and vision, and it's life-changing. Beautiful, beautiful, Marie Cecile. You've already got the sense of how life-changing this is and how important it is. And if you're anything like me, every time you step into the next level, there's more. D&T, my limiting belief is that my contribution doesn't matter, so why ask for help? That is such a common one. Yet I do ask for help. Yay! So my belief and my actions doesn't match, which is in this case is a good thing. That's because you're shifting out of them, you're breaking through from those old ways of beings. Susan Nora, I'd love to hear about it. I'm not sure exactly what it is you want to hear about. So I want to shift the energy here. I want to lead us into a process to help you, get clear on the support that you need and step into the next level of the vision. Just identify any gaps here. But I want to shift the energy from, it's easy when we focus on what support isn't there to kind of go into scarcity. So I want to just really open up to receiving, so we can just be in that energy of receiving. So the beautiful poem that I want to share with you, called Daydream by A.J. Tessamond. Just receive, just be in an energy of receiving and letting this in, and then we'll go into what support we need to receive. One day, people will touch and talk, perhaps easily, and loving, be natural and breathing, and warm as sunlight. And people will untie themselves as string is unknotted, unfold and yawn and stretch and spread their fingers, unfurl, uncurl like seaweed returned to the sea. And work will be simple and swift as a seagull flying, and play will be casual and quiet as a seagull settling. And the clocks will stop, and no one will wonder or care or notice, and people will smile without reason, even in winter, even in the rain. One day, people will touch and talk, perhaps easily, and loving be as natural as breathing and warm as sunlight. And people will untie themselves as string is unknotted, unfold and yawn and stretch and spread their fingers, unfurl, uncurl like seaweed, returned to the sea. And work will be simple and swift, as a seagull flying, and play will be casual and quiet, as a seagull settling. And the clocks will stop, and no one will wonder or care or notice. And people will smile without reason, even in winter, even in the rain. So as you really let this receiving energy infuse your body, just want you to reflect on the support that you already have. So just reflect back over the last 3 to 6 months. What support structures do you already have in place that have helped you become who you are and step into your potential? Just take a moment to feel into all of those people and structures and groups and communities that you have in your life, and just really feeling your heart open, gratitude to them, to the amazing people you have in your life. And gratitude to yourself for creating these relationships and structures and groups. Just really open to acknowledge all that you have and acknowledge what you did to open to receive this support. Beautiful. And now, with all this heart full of gratitude for all the support you already have, look forward over the next 3, 6, 12 months to what you are creating, to who you are becoming, to your vision and the next steps that you're called to take. What is it that you're creating? What's the most important thing that you're working on? What's your vision of who you are becoming as you create that vision? And where are the gaps in your support needs for the most important things that you're leaning into creating? Is it that you need a support network? Is it that you need feedback, cheerleading, skills? Where could you reach out to for support? Who do you already have in your life? Or what would you like to call in? So just take a moment to feel into the other levels of radical support that you would love to create in your life. Who are the potential vision partners that you can reach out to? What's the one thing? Just really sense of all of those possibilities. What's the most important thing that you can focus on? It might be like Caroline, that you realize that there's somebody you know who's doing the same thing, who's creating something similar to you, and you could be vision partners, accountability buddies on the way. It might be that there's people already in your life that you could reach out to share both your struggles and your vision, that you could open up to creating My client who reached out to me to tell me how she was really creating a support network in her life, and before she, didn't see that there was anyone who could support her. So I'd love to hear from you. Share in the chat, what is the most important thing that you can create, that you can lean into to receive even more support in the next 3 to 6 months? And I'll see if I can see any comments. And so the last thing, so we've brought new awareness to the old stories. We're opening up to get clear on the next level of support that you want. And so the last thing, I want to talk about the kinds of support that are most helpful for us when we're becoming, and knowing how to grow those support networks. So as I said at the beginning, we can't become ourselves by ourselves. And there's research has shown that geese flying in formation, they fly 70% further and faster in formation than they could do alone. And this becoming yourself, making the greatest difference, is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. That's the old energy. So I might just refresh. Not seeing any comments. So, and I want to just get clear on the different types of relationships that we have that can give us support. Is, the first level is our connections, is our friends and our family and people in our lives that we feel connected with, but they're not necessarily interested in a growth path. So it might be, old friends and family, and often they can give us support, but there's an identity there that's anchored in the past. So, it's good to be clear on what support is really valuable from those people. They can give you some support, but it's not necessarily the support for who you are becoming, but it can be really practical, emotional support, help with childcare, help with the practical stuff. And then the next level is people that we know who are interested in growth, but not as committed as you are to realizing your higher possibilities. So they might still be holding you an identity from the past, because when you're evolving very quickly, and it might be that you're a great model of transformation for them, and they're on the growth path with you, but they're not quite as committed as you are. They're not quite as hardcore or really going for it as you are. So they could be, good support for talking about transformation, but they might not be the next level. And the third level for the relationships is a power partner, or an evolutionary partner, or a vision partner. And this is people who are as committed to creating and stepping into their greatest possibilities as you are. And these partnerships are formed around who we are in potential, who we can become, and not the history of who we have been. And they're forged around our future, around the potential that we're sensing into, and not the past. Around growth and evolution. So just think about who do you have in your life? Identify at least one person who is in this vision partner category with you, and see if you can reach out to them and start a conversation and saying, I'd love to find a way for us to actively support each other with what it is that we most want to create, with the visions that we have, and share your visions with each other. Say, I'd love to hear about your vision. I'd love to share mine. And most of the people in our lives, they don't know what it is that we're deeply committed to, the dreams that we hold in our heart. And so they're not necessarily connected to who we are becoming, who we are stretching into, and how they can hold space for that. And and then give each other permission. What would it be like to show up in your life as clearly as you can identify now, in ways that are consistent with that vision? So I'd love to hear from you and to share with me what your your what your support needs are that you've identified with, and if you can think of a power partner that you can call on. And I know for me, most of the power partners in my life, the vision partners that I have in my life, and I've got many of them, they came through training, through transformational retreats, through courses that I've engaged on, which are all focused on who we're becoming. So if you love this and you would love to come together with some amazing women here in the Netherlands, I'm offering a retreat in June where we're focused on embodying our feminine superpowers. And I know that many of the women who come on these retreats, they do form these deep bonds, these deep supportive partnerships for who we are becoming. And we'll be exploring that, discovering how to create these sources of support. So if you're interested in that, let me know, reach out, and we can have a chat, because this is such an important topic. So post in the chat. I'm not seeing any other comments. I don't know if they're just not coming through, but I will come back and respond to all the comments if there's been another technical glitch in this. So in the meantime, have a great week, and I will speak to you again soon.